All right, we're back with part 2 of Tim's interview, talking about his season 9 main event finals. And we're talking to him out of order. And that's because Darcy is traveling the world and hard to get a hold of time-wise, and Philip is being a bit of a diva with his schedule. But Tim was ready.
Yes,
Keith,
I
you
will
heard
say
this?
that.
Yeah.
I will say that this is deeply unjust because it was actually a substantial negotiating factor in the game as to what order the interviews would occur based on the placement of the game.
I tried to do it in order of placement, but it just couldn't work out.
Yeah.
Frankly, we need to get the interviews done because we're exhausted.
Yeah, I'm joking.
And so
I'm
that's
joking.
why
To clarify.
All right. Keith, your impressions of what we've heard from Tim so far. I think he's being honest. Do you think he's being honest, and do you feel for him in this stage?
Yeah, everything's completely genuine as far as I can tell. And I actually like his position. He said his diplomacy is not that great, but I mean, he seems to have a good rapport with England. He had a choice of Italy or Turkey, and later on in the game, you can see it doesn't matter which one he chooses because they're the ones locked up together, not him. And so he has 3 Austrian centers ahead of him. So I love the position. I love the play. He's actively growing. I would want to be this Russia regardless. So.
What about that fleet in Ankara?
Yeah, that's an Ed Sullivan problem, and I would put that against you if I was Tim for the rest of my life. So
I do actually feel a little bad about that. The other thing, Tim, you see these builds. The first thing I saw, I'm positive we talked about on the show, is maybe the stabs coming on against you right now.
I'm actually not that concerned at this point. I don't think there's like a real stab on me. Like there's a bad stab on me, but I don't think there's a good stab on me. By really anyone on the board. Oh, sorry, by the EG, you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
London to North, Kiel to Baltic. I mean, these, you know.
Let's talk about that in spring, I guess. But yeah.
Well, it's about to be the spring.
I guess
that's why I'm wondering.
I was concerned. I was really concerned that Darcy was going to go to Baltic, and my negotiations with England are very substantially picking up. And we're talking about how, like we're going to kill Darcy eventually together, right? Like, yeah, that's going to happen. Okay, let's talk about the North first. So what happens here? Darcy does not tell England, or maybe England is lying to me, but I don't think England is lying to me. Darcy does not tell England whether or not he's going to go to Baltic or not, because at this point Darcy is freaking out about an ER, which I may have contributed to because last turn I told Darcy I didn't want to stab England, and now I'm really concerned because I think if I was Darcy, I would stab Russia from this position, because I think if like we have to break out somehow, and there's a dot right there, and that's a way to break out. So I get concerned, and I was not initially at all going to move to Silesia, but I asked Darcy for a bounce in Baltic at some point this phase, because obviously he can just slip into Sweden if he wants to then, but it is a slightly worse way for him to slip into Sweden, in my opinion at least, if it involves me ending up in Baltic. So I asked him for the bounce, and he says, I actually want to move the fleet to Holland. And this doesn't, and I have like, I feel like generally, like this is like a thing that I'm definitely working on. I need to have a better internal sense of just when things don't make sense. Like when people make arguments that don't make sense, and I fix this later in the game. But when arguments just don't make sense, I need to just be like, nope, you're lying. You're stabbing me. And this did not really make sense, but this made a little bit of sense. It was not insane for him to be sending the fleet to Holland. So I don't bounce him in Baltic. And in lieu of bouncing him in Baltic, I hedge a little by moving to Silesia instead, so that I can force him to make a guess between Munich and Berlin, basically if he wants to take Sweden. And otherwise I can just explain my thoughts. But basically, I was like, I don't want to be the first person to stab. It's not that bad if he gets into Baltic, because I'll have this guess on Kiel and Berlin, and he'll have to cover Berlin, right? Like if he loses Berlin or Munich to an army, it's going to be devastating for him. But I really should have just bounced Baltic here. I should have just put in the move and called it a day.
If he said he was moving to Holland, that probably should have been a cue that either he's lying or that he is not solid with England, and you're probably more solid with England. And if you're
Baltic, what's the worst case by moving to Baltic? You lose Sweden, which you would have lost anyways if you didn't go there.
Well, the worst case if I move to Baltic is that I break the peace in the north. And there was actually going to be a piece in the north for like one more turn or something, and suddenly like the EG actually has to come attack me or something. But yeah, I should have bounced Baltic here.
All right. I actually didn't know that Warsaw Silesia would not have been agreed. Part of me was just thinking,
I mean,
Needs to
it's a
come
what's it
around to
going to
Bohemia.
do? It's got to go around. You just did that yourself, Darcy.
yeah, exactly. I think it's like reasonable either way for me to move to Silesia, but yeah. And then this starts to tie into talks in the south. So one thing that I'm somewhat proud of this turn is that I leaked to Darcy. Darcy was like, please don't move to Bohemia, not even Silesia, because I was considering just moving to Silesia, like as a matter of agreed, like you said, like just telling Darcy, yo, can I move to Silesia? It's clearly a good move. But he was like, yo, can you not move to Bohemia? And I was like, what? Like, surely I can move to Bohemia. No, like I need Bohemia. That's the only way I can ever break this line is if I'm in Bohemia. That's how I have. That's the only way I can kill Austria. And I was like maybe I'll
He
move
was
to
thinking about
Bohemia.
Munich or Berlin. He was worried about Silesia and Bohemia.
Exactly, right. But Darcy ended up leaking this to Austria, and I was actually fairly confident that Darcy was going to leak this to Austria. That I was maybe moving to Bohemia, and I was being a little bit squirrely. And in his impression, he thought I was going to move to Bohemia. And for that reason, I was fairly confident that this move to Budapest would succeed. I thought Austria would just cover Bohemia. In fact, if I was Austria, I think I would just cover Bohemia because I make really aggressive guesses, and I should stop doing that, but I do that. So I thought, and it turns out Austria did not cover Bohemia, and this move still works somehow. But I got into Budapest, and I thought I was going to get into Budapest because I thought Austria was going to cover Bohemia. One more important thing is the support to Albania. This was the agreed move between me and Turkey that Serbia would go to Albania, and it would have been a pretty good move. And I think Romania was going to support Bulgaria to Serbia because, like, as soon as the winter builds go through, I'm like, well, I guess you get Serbia then, right? You're going to get Serbia, and then you can build in Smyrna. That's how the RT is going to go. But I am also like, I don't know if I want to do this. And also, I'm pretty sure I can take Budapest, but like you said, I was a little bit worried that Turkey maybe could be having some press with Austria at this point. So I didn't tell Turkey that I was going to go for Budapest with 3. And I instead told him I was going to just go to Albania and he can have Serbia. And as a result, these are the moves that were inputted.
I'm very surprised and disappointed that Richard did not double support Budapest.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he thought he was getting, or I think maybe Turkey told him he was getting Serbia or something, but I'm not entirely sure why he. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised that even though he didn't cover Bohemia, I still got Budapest.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the Albania. I think we talked about the Albanian move at the time, but I can't remember. What do you think, Keith? Should he have gone to Albania or should he have done this?
I think this is fine. It's more risky. I mean, if I'm Austria, I'm waiting for Italy to get into position, especially in the spring. Right. I might bounce this. I can see where Bohemia actually makes sense because it gives you better position. So I think you got really lucky. I agree. You did your homework and tried to figure out whatever other people were doing. So this is actually a better move diplomatically than it is tactically off the cuff. So good job there. But I'm not sure if Albania is better or not. I mean,
meanwhile, your bro Cedric, did he know this was happening, or did he say, "Oh, I can't believe he did that"?
It was the latter. I don't know if he actually knew it was happening or not. I kind of believe him when he says he doesn't know it was happening, because I think if I was Germany and I was moving on Russia this turn, I would not tell England. But yeah.
It feels too early. I feel like they have to take France down a couple dots before they pivot on Russia.
I think Germany needs to pivot on me. Like I think this is Darcy's best move from this position. Now that he hasn't stabbed England, I think he has to just take Sweden. And he'll have opportunities to work with me later. But I think if I'm in Sweden for too long, he's gonna get stabbed. And as England like moves into North Sea and stuff, like Denmark is gonna be vulnerable. There's gonna be like guesses at Holland, and I think his position is just too weak to not try to break out of the EGR at this point.
I don't know. At some level, I mean, this stab doesn't work out for Darcy, but he could have moved to Holland and then told Cedric, "I need Belgium." You're getting.
He could go to Belgium in the fall. It's open, and I'd pitch to Russia as like, I'm gonna take Sweden one way or the other. Go to Norway. It's like take Norway, build in St. Petersburg, hold your line. I'll attack England. You just do your thing. And there's just a couple of different times that the GR could shake out.
Yeah.
It just never did.
I guess that's the other thing. You could have gone to Norway. You would have lost it, given the way this shook out. But you could have done that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was much point in going to Norway when I was just gonna get kicked right out, probably, because like there's Denmark no longer has anything to do but tap Sweden, right? Like I know for sure Denmark is tapping Sweden. In fact, at this point, I think I asked what did I do? Oh yeah, I asked Darcy to, God, I'm so stupid. What? Oh God. Okay, but anyway, I asked Darcy to shuffle Kiel to Baltic, I think, and Denmark back to Kiel, and Darcy said he couldn't do that because they could have slipped into Denmark and gotten support held by England. But I feel like that doesn't make sense because like he could have just slipped into Sweden after, and there would have been guess. I guess it would have been a guess. Okay, never mind. Maybe this was a reasonable explanation by Darcy. But yeah.
All right. So are you at this point at all? I mean, you know it's a stab, right? You know it's a stab by Germany, but you don't know if it's the coming England joining of the attack.
Right. So specifically, what England is telling me at this point is like, look, Germany might be attacking you. He might not be. I don't know. But if he is, he's going to attack you for a bit. But I'll come. I'll come and I'll stab Germany, and you'll be fine.
He can come now.
Right. This is what I'm saying. Like, there's Holland right in front of you. Why don't we just take Holland? And he does not just take Holland. And the problem is, like, the ultimate problem is that I'm sure Darcy has told him he's happy to play for second, and I'm sure England is like, well, I'm sure England actually believes this because it's believable. Because Darcy said this in Summer Classic and actually did it in Summer Classic. And
yeah, I know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you were on the board. but yeah. But ultimately, like having Germany as a janissary is really attractive for England, and he should never stab his janissary. And yeah, it is how it is.
All right. So what's the go forward plan here?
So go forward plan for me is that I am going to retreat to Skagerrak. Or sorry, this was not actually strictly speaking the go forward plan, but after the turn went through, this was the plan that was formulated. We're going to retreat to Skagerrak. We're going to mess with Darcy as much as possible. Because like I can mess with England, and I know that someone needs to mess with England, and it's not going to be Darcy. But if I mess with England solo, like it's just me, because Darcy's not going to help, and Darcy's going to keep attacking me because his optimal move to get second place is just to play the EG out to the end and keep lying to me that something's going to happen, and it's just never going to happen. So my go forward plan is I'm just going to mess with Darcy until Darcy like feels enough pressure to come to me to be like, yo, we got like. I'm on 4 now. I'm on 3 now, and I can build a fleet, and yeah. And then we could maybe fight England together. Another part of the go forward plan is that maybe Italy could be involved, because if we see in the south, I'm about to stab Turkey. And if Italy is strong enough, maybe Italy can eventually send fleets into west and go fight England together, and maybe that's how England is going to get stopped. And then the third go forward plan is I can get thrown too, but we'll talk to you later.
All right.
Yeah,
so let's go to the fall here.
Because this is EG potential part 2. Because if Kiel goes to Denmark, Denmark goes to Sweden, Sweden goes to Norway, you guys can force north in the fall. Also coming up, you'll have Wintergreen part 2. That's possible.
Right. Yeah. So Wintergreen part 2 happens here. This is a stab on Turkey, right? Turkey was promised Serbia. Turkey did not get Serbia. And this was a lot of hard negotiation with Philip. To get back on side with him in both directions. I'm actually surprised I still got into Vienna, which it was a very pleasant surprise, but I did get into Vienna. Let's see. This was like a fine stab on Turkey. It's not a good stab for me because I'm never getting anything on Turkey. In fact, I'm probably losing stuff to Turkey eventually.
Are you saying the Serbia bounce is a stab?
Yes. This is just a full stab. And my anticipation of what was going to happen was Turkey was going to turn around and take Black Sea, eventually take Romania, and get eaten by Italy, and it wasn't going to be very good for me. And also, in order to get Italy to do the stab, because Italy wasn't going to go for Trieste originally, right? But in order to entice Italy to do this, I promised Italy Serbia next year, which I think is reasonable, because like I can't actually hold Serbia, right? Like Serbia is not mine. If other people decide that Serbia is someone else's, it's not my dot. And if Italy is strong enough, maybe Italy can go west. And that would be good.
Okay.
I do like this retreat to Skagerrak. The retreat to Skagerrak is great because, in general, that should have forced Darcy to build a fleet to get rid of it.
Right.
And it didn't happen, which lets you cause more mayhem later. So,
right. The retreat to Skyward was actually Cedric's idea. I was gonna retreat to Bothnia. This will probably shock you, but I was gonna retreat to Bothnia, and Cedric had to do some convincing to get me to retreat to Skagerrak. And the idea was Skagerrak is like slightly tactically better because it gives England excuses to keep North Sea in North Sea. And as long as England, like North Sea could have gone to Holland here and it could have been a stab this moment, but it wasn't a stab this moment, but that's okay. We're going to stab Germany soon, right? The stab will happen soon. And when that stab happens, England has to be in North Sea. And Germany is going to have very good arguments as to why England should not be in North Sea anymore, because Germany doesn't have a fleet adjacent to North Sea. And like England is also bigger. Like there's no reason for England to be in North Sea. But if I'm in Skagerrak, I can bounce them everywhere. I can do some stuff. I can hold some German units back from pushing Livonia and stuff and St. Pete. And we can keep North Sea in North Sea. I guess one more big
players.
Sorry, go ahead. Wait, what?
So me and Cedric are very different players. Ed was in Skagerrak. I was like, no, it's gotta go. I was like, it's gotta go.
I went to Skagerrak and Keith was England, and he dedicated all his units to making sure I was dead.
Meanwhile, you're getting invited there. I was like, no.
But you're still going to build here. Having killed Austria, you got a new friend. How does Turkey react to this latest development?
Turkey reacted very well. This was a good, like, he was not upset. He said my line, which is I'm not sad, or I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. This was clearly very disappointing to him. And like we kept the door open because I'm not getting anything against Turkey. Everyone knows I'm not getting anything against Turkey, including Turkey. So I literally what I'm saying to Turkey here is I'm just going to sit around for a bit. We're going to bounce in Black Sea. You're probably going to take Black Sea eventually, but I'm just going to sit around and something's going to happen. And deal with the North for a bit. Oh, can you go back one phase? Sorry, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, which was this stuff, this rotation of Munich to Berlin and Burgundy to Munich. Because I was telling Darcy this phase, look, just go to Berlin with Baltic, just cover your centers, and I will not get any of them. If I get into your center, if you lose this guess, you're dead. You're just gonna die. England's gonna kill you. You're not covering Holland. There's gonna be a hostile army in your home center. You're gonna die. And Darcy made the call that he was going to take Sweden, and he was also going to cover both Berlin and Munich to not have any chance of dying. And I thought that this was a possibility, and England confirmed it to me. And because I thought that this was a possibility, this was my way of basically saying, like, Germany, like, this is not going to work out for you. Like, yes, you can turn all the way around, because I knew that this was happening. Like this hostile support was a joke order. It was like technically good, right? Like if I'm going to hold in Silesia, I should technically enter this hostile support. But the point being, I am going to let Darcy rotate his armies all the way off of France. He's never going to get anything at all off of France. England's going to get everything.
Bouncing him in Munich would have helped him under that scenario.
Exactly, right? He would have gotten to keep this army in Burgundy. And I'm not sure this was strictly speaking correct, because it would have given Darcy more play on England, certainly, to have this army in Burgundy. And it would have kept me a little safer to not have to deal with as many armies on the line. But this was my way of saying, look, Darcy, like something's got to change.
It prevented a piff of the Gascony army too.
Also true.
Yeah, but the orders would have been a little bit different. I bet Mid-Atlantic goes to Spain and Burgundy comes down to Marseille to take it. So you wouldn't have to worry about it. Gascony would have a retreat.
But you knew that Cedric told you this is happening, and I guess Keith's point is Cedric would have done something different.
Yeah.
Okay. In any event, right? Like, all right. So this is basically the end of Darcy's game. I mean, he gets one, but then builds the army, which is horrible.
Yeah,
he needed a fleet here.
And like, this is what I am telling Darcy this entire time, right? I'm like, look, Darcy, you're basically just playing Germany versus an EF at this point, because England is going to have two armies in France. England's going to have all of France, and there's an EF, and you're coming, and you're going east, right? You're going east as solo Germany against an EF, and I think that's like a fair summary of this position. And just kept going east. And I think
why not build in St. Pete?
Yeah, I know this was a big topic of contention. I did not build in St. Pete because I think my center is actually very rough. I think like my Balkan position is not good. I definitely lack armies. And I have to start covering things like convoying to Livonia. I have to support hold Silesia. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in the center if I don't have a lot of armies. And I know Darcy is coming for me, right? Like this is one thing that I know. And
you're not sure Cedric is.
Right. And I'm pretty sure Cedric isn't, in fact. At least for now, right? Like Cedric has other things to do other than come for me. And I think if I build
you only lose 1 dot in St. Petersburg, so
right. And Germany is just giving me nothing, right? Like Cedric is giving me a lot diplomatically, right? Cedric is like, like we're gonna work together. I'm gonna stab Germany soon. Like give me a little bit, but we're gonna stab Germany. And Germany is just giving me absolutely nothing. And in fact, when I talked to Germany's allegedly this was a ploy by England, which is a fantastic ploy, very well played, if so. But basically, I was under the impression that Germany had leaked some of my press to England. And that was the point of like, look, man, I have a thing going with England. Like this is like my out in the north is that England actually wants to play with me. And me trying to conduct press with Germany and play with Germany and trying to save the position by making sure England doesn't get too far ahead of Germany while Germany full on attacks me. Like all of this is to the detriment of my alternative plan. Like there's a trade-off here now that Germany is trying to sabotage my relationship with England. And that's basically why Warsaw ends up happening.
I hate it because this is part 3. I was like, Darcy could just put you into Norway, move Baltic to Denmark. I was like, as soon as England puts down that second army, you're like, maybe I do need Russia, but
right, it is unacceptable in an EG for England to build Army London here. No, like it just cannot be that England builds Army London here. But Darcy was okay with it. And like, if he's gonna be okay with it, I don't know what I can say. Like, I genuinely just don't know what line of negotiation I could have had at this point.
Meanwhile, you got an Italian problem. You just made up with Philip. You got a problem with Turkey stabbing him. Like, what are you gonna do in the south here?
Right. I think Italy is long term going to be a problem to me in the south, just because I am not getting the best of vibes from him. Specifically, this build was a very tough negotiation. And I'm not entirely sure why, because I just thought it was a given that Italy was going to.
I'm shocked to hear that. I would have wanted to build in St. Pete, but
No, sorry, not Warsaw. The Italian build.
Naples.
Oh, the Italian build. Well, what else is he going to build? He's got to
Army Naples. Army Naples was what he wanted to build. And I learned later that this was because he was negotiating with Turkey, and Turkey wanted it to be Army Naples, and he was trying to play both sides, right? Like, which is good. You should try to play both sides. That's diplomacy. But I thought it would be unacceptable to me for there to be a third Italian
totally
army
right.
here. Yeah. So he asked me I credit him. He asked me, is this a red line for you? And I said, yes, it is a red line. And then he said, okay, but I'm still getting Serbia and Greece then. And I was like, yeah, that was the deal the whole time. Of course you're getting Serbia and Greece. But this made me very nervous with respect to the Italian intentions. I think he was pretty patently trying to play both sides and not commit fully against Turkey and let Turkey swing his fleets against me, so that he could pick.
All right, move it up forward, Keith.
Yeah, I think Fleet Naples was the play. I think there was a case for Army Rome to get rid of the German unit, but that could be happening after Serbia.
Yeah. So yeah, at this point, Turkey and I are still talking a little bit. Yeah, I'll just talk about the south first, I guess. So this is a guess, right, for Italy to either get into Albania or not get into Albania, between whether or not Turkey goes for Ionian or taps Albania. And he loses this guess. I later learned that it was arranged that he lost this guess, and I genuinely have no idea why he did that. But he arranged the bounce with Turkey and Albania, and that was not good. I don't know why. I don't know. It was bad for the progress that we could have made. I didn't learn this phase. I just thought he lost the guess, and I was like, yeah, you lost the guess. But basically, Italy said, oh, also in exchange for the fleet build in Naples, which I think he should have just been willing to do anyways. But in exchange for that, Vienna had to move to Bohemia. That was the agreement. Vienna's going to leave and leave to either Bohemia or Galicia. And I was like, man, I guess it's good, because Bohemia is a useful unit. Like, I do actually kind of want to be in Bohemia right now. So at this point, I'm keeping my options a little bit open. I was not told that I was being led into Black Sea. This was something
I can't believe Albania is a bounce. Like
I
a
can't
range.
either.
In a range
Maybe,
bound.
maybe this is wrong. But this is
No.
what Turkey told me in the late game, that Albania was a bounce here, and I
There's-
don't understand why. But yeah,
I just think it's funny we had so many episodes are like, can they IT from this position? And I guess they kind of are.
right. They kind of are, but Turkey's just not having it, right? Like I think every single turn, I think like literally almost every single turn, Turkey is promising Italy the fleets are swinging around, right? The fleets are going against Russia, and it's just not happening. And yeah, it is how it is.
Can we talk about the Prussia moves?
I mean, I don't understand why he went to Prussia. I don't know. I was anticipating losing Silesia and being like, well, I guess I'm in like Galicia now. Why did I support myself into Livonia again? I
That's
don't
the
remember.
question. Why don't you support Warsaw? And
Why doesn't Moscow go to Livonia and Warsaw to Prussia, supported by Silesia?
Correct.
I think it's because I wanted to have 2-1 St. Pete. Oh yeah, that's definitely why. I just wanted to have 2-1 St. Pete. In case Bothnia and Sweden and Finland, or Bothnia and Norway, or some combination of that.
Did you know this was going to be a bounce in Denmark?
This I did not, but next turn I did. But this I was not aware. This I was just tapping Sweden because Sweden could advance to Finland.
Yeah. Okay. But not Norway. I know you could have lost Norway if you took it. I'm just, part of me just thinks, God, this has to be a little bit arranged with Cedric.
Yeah, no, this is all arranged with Cedric, to clarify. I didn't know that the bounce was happening, but Cedric and I are communicating very well. Cedric is still promising that a stab is coming soon, TM, but in vague terms, and he's not committing to. God, it's so frustrating when because I feel like when I say something, if you don't agree with it, I expect you to respond, right? Like if I say, look, you're gonna stab in fall, right? Like I expect you to be like, no, I am not stabbing in fall, affirmatively. But with Cedric, it felt like he was willing. He was like, you had to get him to say, yes, I am gonna stab and fall, in order to like really, in order to really make progress in terms of negotiation. But yeah, it's just like constant, like, I need Cedric to stab, yada yada.
Get all the vague attitudes.
Yeah,
he's helping him into Marseille, and you help him into Denmark in fall. So let's go through to the fall move here. How does this come about?
right. Okay, let's talk about the north first. So basically, I was getting a little tired of Cedric at this point. I was like, look, man, just don't even convoy to Holland. Just take Holland, man. Like, you can take everything this turn. I'll take Sweden, like, right? Like, because y'all are bouncing. I'll just take Sweden. Just go take Holland. If you're helping me, you're helping me. If you're not helping me, you're not helping me, right? Like, and Cedric was like misunderstanding me. He thought I wanted him to convoy Picardy to Holland, and that just was not what I was asking for. And he was like, well, nope, I'm spending one more turn to go clean up France. But also, Smile, you can support me into Denmark if you want. And I supported him to Denmark. I think this was, I will defend this move. I probably won't defend the moves that I did with Cedric later, but this was like, Darcy, this really isn't good for you. Like you're like, he could have gone to Holland, yes, but now he's in Denmark. And I didn't say this to Darcy, but I think this is like obviously arranged, right? Like so obviously arranged. Like I would go to Norway if I thought anything else. But yeah.
I think it's defensible, but it also sort of depends on whether you think Darcy will turn around.
Right. I did think about going to Norway here. I could have gone to Norway. But like, it's just the same problem. Like, if I go to Norway, I still just have no friends in the north, and I don't think Darcy's my friend. So like, I don't know what I can do. I still think England is like gonna have a lot of fleets and be able to like France is dead at this point. I have the full line of German units against me. I'm taking guesses every turn to not lose stuff, right? Like Silesia is vulnerable here, or Livonia is vulnerable. One of the two is always going to be lost. And I'm pulling units into the south in order to stab Italy, so I'm even more vulnerable.
back on the Turkey train now.
Yeah. So a few things of consequence. One thing was a very good piece of psychological warfare conducted by England, in which he leaked, and also leaked through Turkey, that Germany and Italy were talking and that they were getting close. And this did not bring me joy. I believed it. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Maybe it was true. Maybe it wasn't. Philip denied it after the fact. But this was like, I'm not too happy. And then a few more reasons. This stab I think was correct. I will defend this second stab on Italy. I think for a few things. First of all, I don't think Italy was going to move west anytime soon. I think in Italy's fleets are all going to be committed against making gains against Turkey for the next like several years, and by the time Italy can move west, it's going to be too late. And he's not going to be able to do anything meaningful to check England. In the same way that Turkey is not going to be able to do anything meaningful to check England. Secondly, I don't think Italy is going to come help me against Germany anytime soon either. In fact, I asked him explicitly, when are you going to move to Tyrolia? And he said, well, I'd maybe be willing to do that if you vacated Budapest first. And I'm like, bro, you just want me to have Vienna and Budapest empty? And he was basically like, yeah, or like maybe Budapest can move to Vienna. And I was
surprised he didn't move to Tyrolia in spring of 2005.
Right. But my feeling was just that like Italy is just going to be too densely packed in the Balkans. He needs me to be so sparse in the Balkans and he's also not going to be able to check England effectively, even if he tries to. That I think Italy's best path going forward would just be to stab me and try to race England, especially because I know he's going to build an army this year. He is certainly going to build an army this year. It's probably going to be Army Naples, maybe, but I mean, I hope it's Army Naples, but like, even if it is Army Naples, I can still get stabbed, right? Like, I'm still going to be vulnerable in Budapest and stuff. And as the game continues to go forward and I get nothing from Turkey, Italy continues to make like army builds and stuff. And I'm not going to have any leverage to stop him from making army builds. I'm going to be so vulnerable in the Balkans to just Italian armies that I thought the position was too bad for me. And the Italian racing potential would be too high for me to be comfortable going forward from this position.
So I'm looking at this like, if it wasn't obvious that Cedric had a huge advantage before, it is now.
It is very obvious, yeah.
And only Darcy turning around, coordinating with you could possibly do anything. France isn't contesting him. In fact, he, instead of defending against Paris, he takes Spain back. He takes Marseille back from Germany. Do you gain any traction with Darcy here? Does Darcy think this is a stab? You said you didn't tell him it was arranged. I think I would have told him. I think I would have told him Cedric said to do it, and that's why.
I wanted to tell him, but I figured he would just he would go to England and be like, "Yo, what the heck? Russia's saying this," and then England would come back to me and be like, "Yo, what the heck? You told Darcy." And I figured it was obvious enough. I figured I didn't have to say it in order for Darcy to come to the conclusion that this was clearly arranged. But I think I had also heard some board chatter that Darcy
you should have said it. You should have said it because you were just protecting England's game at that point.
Well, I'm protecting my relationship with England, right? Because but
if England's fully committed on your side, it shouldn't matter.
Right, that's true. So yeah, I probably should have just told Darcy then that England was.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, Darcy has these strange disbands. Why don't we do that? Oh no, he has Piedmont. That is another game I was thinking about is disbands. Okay,
yeah, Piedmont was normal.
Yeah, Piedmont's fine. But you see the two fleets. So all right, what's going on now? What are you gonna do?
So this was the first time I believe Cedric lied to me, and I knew about it because Cedric told me it was going to be a build in our Army London, I think Army London Fleet Eddy, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if it's Army London, then we're Darcy's going to die, right? Darcy's going to die, and I'm going to have a chance to race. Another thing on my mind, even at this point, is that I am probably going to try to get Turkey to throw to me by the end of the game, because. A lot of the discussions with Turkey, we haven't talked about it yet, but a lot of the discussions with Turkey, even at the very beginning of the game, have surrounded the coin toss with Riaz, right? And I bonded a lot with Turkey because I think it is so respectable to just always be trying to win the game. And he won that game, right? Just to be clear, he broke the coin flip and he won the game. He didn't break the coin flip and get second place. He broke the coin flip because he had a chance to win the game and he won the game. And Turkey and I have bonded a lot about just always trying to play to win the game. And I think that this mentality is something that is very, very conducive to throwing. because if the only thing that we care about is our chances to win the game when we can no longer win the game, then throwing is an option. And it's because like whatever, like second place. And we've also been complaining at this point about how Darcy is playing for second place. And that's something that we're bonding over as well. And at this point, I'm like, I think that one of us could potentially throw it to the other, because we don't want to play for second place. Like that's just not it. And yeah. So that is basically my out to try to win this game at this point. And because Cedric lies to me here, Cedric has no reason to lie to me here. So I believe him when he says that this is an accident, right? Like he could have just told me it's too full. Like I don't have builds, right? So he has no reason to try to deceive me during the winter. But this was a big eyebrow raising moment for me. And it's like, okay, he still does have a stab on Germany. It is still possible that he's stabbing Germany in the near future, but not seeing an army build here was not good.
And it wasn't good. So let's go to 06.
God, okay. I bounced Norway because Cedric asked me to, and I'm very sad that I did this. I probably should not have bounced Norway.
Well, what other option did you have? There's not really like any great options.
Yeah, that's true. And in my defense, it would have been difficult to defend St. Pete, right? Like Norway is a unit that's adjacent to St. Pete. And he could have even been in Bothnia instead of having been in Sweden. But like this was like a massive favor to Cedric, I think, because like I would have covered St. Pete, I would have been like fine, and Darcy was backing off me in the middle. I think I even knew that Darcy was backing off me in the middle, and I still bounced him in Munich. I don't know why I did this either. But basically, like this was the turn that said that Darcy was trying to back off me, and I just didn't let him do it. And I should have let him do it.
You're thinking you should have let him into Norway, gone to St. Petersburg. Is this what you're suggesting?
Yeah, or put 2 on St. Pete in some fashion. I don't have to strictly be in St. Pete. But the reason I did this was Cedric said, this is the one last thing, and then I'm stabbing Germany. Or I think he said, like, just bounce Norway, and then I'll stab Germany and fall. And I'm like, I mean, you do have a stab on Germany and fall. That is a thing. And the whole time he was like, I need France dead before I can stab Germany. And like, France is dead, right? Like, this is the time. And if England's going to stab Germany here, I have play. I think I have a lot of play at the board top.
Okay, is that German army entirely there to help you or help Italy? I thought it was there to. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely to help Italy, but it's not there to kill me, at least, right? Like at least I'm safe. I'm not going to lose Warsaw to the German army in Tyrolia or Galicia. I was scared of losing Galicia at this point.
But, yeah, that would have been bad. All right, let's go to fall.
So I guess I'll talk about
no
the
stab
south
on Germany.
Yeah. Let's talk about the north. That's the more salient thing. So this is a stab. Like Cedric is going to come up here and tell you this was not a stab on me. This was a stab. Okay. Like I was told I was getting Sweden from this position and that he was going to go to Holland. And this was, I think, devastating for the purposes of my game. Because I think at this moment I could no longer top by any means other than Turkey's throw. I think Cedric removed my ability to top, because I think if I got Sweden here and I got some play on the German center dots, or even play to work with Germany, I think I had a chance to just top the board in conventional ways. But I think, yeah. And then I think the aftermath of this, like, pretty like upset me quite a bit, because I think Cedric was like, it's not a stab, like just like be happy with your second, or like he didn't necessarily say this, right? But like this is the undertone, because he's like, I want to win the game. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm happy with second. And I'm of course lying. I'm not happy with second. I will tell this lie on every board I'm on, but I'm always lying. I'm not happy with second, guys. But yeah, this was a stab, and I felt really burnt, because I feel like I gave him so much in the north this game, right? I gave him Denmark. I bounced Darcy out of Norway. I guess that's all I did. But like I was adjacent to Norway for years and years and years, and I never took Norway. I never built in St. Pete. While he could go use his units because he didn't have to worry about the north, to go clean up France, which was the one thing that he wanted to do this game. And then the second that it comes for him to give me something back, right? He has given me nothing this game. All he has giving me is not like sending his units to attack me instead of France. But like the second that I am to get something back, I don't get it. And this is the exact same thing that happens to Darcy, right? Like Darcy gives him everything and everything and everything. Denmark, and he's okay with Denmark. He's okay with the second army build. And then as soon as Darcy is supposed to get something back, he gets stabbed. And this is just how it is.
Well, your fleet got disbanded Skagerrak, so you can have Sweden now.
Right.
Now I mean, now he has no problems.
I mean, to be clear, like this is clearly the right English move, right? Like I'm not contesting that this is the correct way for Cedric to go about winning the game. I just like I feel like I kind of feel like I've been led on, right? Like I feel like I've been like every single turn. Can you please stab Germany? These German units are attacking me. They're basically your units that are attacking me because he's vassalized to you. The second you attack him, you can stop him from attacking me. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. And I still give him stuff. And then I don't get Sweden. And I feel like I was led on this whole time, and I feel like I'm still being led on because he's still like I didn't this wasn't a stab. I hope you're not too upset at me ending your chances at winning. And like that's just like the one thing that like really like gets on my nerves in diplomacy when I feel like I'm being led on and led on some more. And yeah.
So this is the first draw proposal in the fall. I believe you're at 8-8. And then someone, Pixie, I guess, ruled, the game master ruled that you can't just concede a win to somebody.
Right.
But
I was never going to draw from this position, to be clear.
I didn't think that was my question.
Yeah, I still had the throw.
You got the throw plan.
Actually. Which we should talk about briefly for the move in Serbia, because this was agreed. And it was agreed in a somewhat weird way.
I call it.
Yeah.
It's like he's moving to Albania. This is agreed.
Yeah. He asked for Romania because he was like, like I need something in order to try to win this game. I need something. And I'm like, yeah, man, you kind of do, but it's not going to be Romania because I cannot have this army in Ukraine, right? Like it cannot go to Ukraine. Like I just can't deal with it. He's going to stab me eventually. So I'm like, but there's a dot in Serbia, and it's not that bad if I lose Serbia from this position. I think like my position's still safe against you if I lose Serbia. And
but you thought you might be getting Sweden. You thought you might be getting Sweden.
That's also true, but I was okay having. Do I even have a disband here? I don't have a disband, right? Like
you don't. Yeah, well, yeah,
Rebuild.
Yeah.
It's not a rebuild because you lost Serbia, but theoretically you would have had a.
Or the Skagerrak is also.
Skagerrak and Serbia is a rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically the plan here. But I was like, okay, I can't guarantee moving out of Serbia, but just go ask Italy for support there. He'll probably give it. And that's what happened. He asked Italy for support there, and it was given. And I thought that, and then we lose the guess on Trieste versus Ionian, right? Like this is a guess. It's either 4 on Trieste or 3 on Ionian, and they guessed right.
All right, so let's run it through the winner. Get your rebuild.
Why Moscow? I hate Moscow.
Why Moscow? That's a great
question. England
question.
definitely stabbed you there.
Right, I did get stabbed. I'm actually not sure why I built it.
He wanted to give him space to attack Sweden.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I still wanted, like, I mean, if England is going to be on side with me, like, I know that I'm unhappy with what happened, right? But if England is going to be on side with me, I'll take it at this point, right? Like, I need a little bit of space to clean up, to buy time to clean up the south, which I guess is, I'm pretty sure Cedric probably just asked for it to be Moscow, or maybe Cedric. Actually, I think Cedric asked for it to be Sev at this point, because I said that I was happy being second. And as a litmus test of whether or not I was actually happy being second and ending the game, I could have built on Sev and forced Turkey to draw. So this was a good litmus test by Cedric, but I probably should have built in St. Pete instead of Moscow. Moscow was an attempt to appease him, but it did not work.
All right. Well, okay. 07, let's run it through.
Yeah. So this is consequential because the coin flip happens here. Spring 07. I initially wanted to wait a little longer to do the coin flip. Because if it happened later, there was a greater chance it would be disguised. And also if it happened later, I forget why, but basically I didn't want to do it now, but it happened now because Turkey correctly identified that if I was going to throw to Turkey from this position, we need to start doing it very soon. And we need to start deciding who's going to get things like Trieste, and basically like that. So the first coin flip is a 50-50. We just flip a coin, and it's a 50-50. And I will go more in depth on the coin flip later, but I just want to like get through like the game first. But first coin flip is a 50-50. I win it by some miracle. And Turkey's like, okay, I guess I'm throwing to you. And I'm like, like if you don't want to throw, like after the coin flip happens, I'm like, if you don't want to throw, it's completely fine. We can just draw. Like if we're not going to do this, we're not going to do this, and I'm not going to be upset. But that is what happened, and this is why I get trieste. This is, I think, this is why I get trieste. This moveset is like, I think, not the worst. We kind of lose the guess on Albania because I just like did not think about Albania at all. And this was a really solid move. This was also when Cedric told Turkey. This is when Cedric first got on Turkey's nerves because Cedric, I have no idea why he did this, but apparently Cedric sent Turkey a message being like, you actually were facing my superior tactics in Italy because I gave Italy these moves. And Turkey is like, what? Like, what? I don't know. I don't know what happened here. But basically, Turkey got a little bit upset with Cedric like trolling him or something.
That is what you don't want to do to the other side of the board.
Yes. I don't know.
My question is, why did Darcy turn around here? Because it looked like he was trying to defend himself. So now he's turned around.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure why he turned around the first time, and I'm not sure why he turned back around now. I think at this point, like, he's being promised a lot of stuff, right? Also, by the way, Bohemia should have tapped Silesia. This was just a mistake by me. I think Bohemia tapping Silesia was very predictable here. But the result was that, yeah, I kind of just had to deal with Darcy's armies on my line, and I tried my best.
Okay, let's push it through because that's where the stab happens finally.
Right. Okay, this is a very eventful turn. So the way this begins is that I think Turkey and Darcy come to somehow talk, and Darcy is like, yo, I can get 3 builds. If you can deceive Russia into not defending Vienna or tapping Budapest so that I can get Vienna, like I can get 3 builds. And at this point, like Turkey and I are working like pretty hard, diligently on ways that I can win the game, right? Because Turkey is throwing to me, quote unquote. Oh, sorry, one more thing. After the first coin flip happened, I told Turkey, in a year or two, let's do another coin flip. And we're gonna do it 80-20 odds for me. But I want you to still have some stake in this game. And you can still play for something, so that if we're collectively successful, you'll still have a chance. So basically, Turkey is working very diligently on this game, and he's not just checked out. So this arrangement happens, and we start debating, me and Turkey, about whether or not the best way for me to win the game is via Germany actually coming back and fighting or not. And I conclude that I don't think Germany's telling me the truth, or telling Turkey the truth, sorry, because Germany has not talked to me at all about this. And that is actually one of the causes that I don't think that Germany is telling the truth, because Germany has not talked to me at all about this. Because if Germany came to me and was like, yo, man, give me Vienna, I'll build 3 and I'll go fight England, I would be like, I'd rather not give you Vienna, but that is a good deal. I will take this deal. But Germany never even offers it to me. So I don't really believe Germany that he's actually going to go fight England. And because I think Germany's best path to the second place is to just punch me and pummel me and make sure I'm dead, and then maybe he'll have more dots than me. And this is very concerning to me because he said that he's playing for second. And I don't know if he was telling the truth, but he's given me no evidence to the contrary. So I really don't want our solution to the problem of how do we beat England to be give Germany a Russian dot and pray that Germany turns around. But
Germany, would you have given him St. Petersburg?
Germany?
Why wouldn't you give him Norway?
The idea is to give Germany a dot to go fight England. One of the 3 would have been St. Petersburg, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I wasn't defending St. Petersburg, and he was going to get it from England, right? The point was that Germany had negotiated with England such that he was going to get Denmark and St. Pete.
Right.
And also sneakily get Vienna. But yeah. But then Cedric learns about this because Darcy told Cedric that he was going to get 3 and that he wanted 3 and that they were going to be 3 armies. And Cedric comes to me and is like, lol, Darcy told me this is bad for you and it's bad for me. You should defend Vienna, and I don't want Darcy to build 3, so I'm just going to stab him. And I'm like, yeah, let's stab Darcy. It's a little late, but you know what? It works. We can stab Darcy. And you know what? I'll defend Vienna. And you know what? I'll even go to Black Sea because one thing Cedric really, really wanted me to do was go to Black Sea and stab Turkey. And like we could have like a fun race at the end. Wow, it would be so fun if England and Russia raced from this position, and England clearly won the race because England has like 17 or something. And I was like, okay, sure, that sounds fun. Let's do that. I'll go to Black Sea. And I did not go to Black Sea because I had Turkey throwing to me. But yeah, that's how the stab happened. And this was as you noted on the broadcast after Cedric being like, "Wow, this was such a devastating stab by Russia and Turkey. Like they're biggest liars I've ever seen." And I'm like, I mean, is this bigger than you disbanding Skagerrak? I don't know, man. Like,
He did
did
call
I
you
even stab you?
liars.
Like, did I stab England here? Like, I didn't go to Black Sea. That was the stab on England. Like, it's not like I like did anything to him. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw him call you liars, but I was like, what are they lying about? Like, I didn't.
Right.
You didn't go to Black Sea as the stab?
Serbia didn't go to Budapest, I think.
Yeah,
To
Serbia
break.
did go to Budapest. That's true.
I think that was the Turkish lie that he was going to break for Darcy.
All right.
Yeah.
So the game is functionally over here, except for maybe this throw thing happens.
Wait, the game is not over at all. I can win the game.
Okay.
All
right.
This game is actually very close in the end, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the one thing that is very disappointing to me is that Darcy does not offer me the throw. And Darcy, in fact, doesn't really offer me like anything at this point because this is my one opportunity, and I just fumble it so badly. Because I don't get a long conversation in with Darcy after the stab happens because he comes to me very frustrated, and I'm like, yeah, that sucks. But I was also like, like we can. I'm not entirely sure what I said, but basically the outcome of this conversation was not fantastic. It was mostly just him saying like, I just want to end on 4, and I'm like, how are you ending on 4? You're losing Holland. But he wants to end on 4, and I'm like, okay. And I also really wanted him to disband Bohemia this year because Finland is such a good unit. Like Finland is a stellar unit from this position. He can like convoy me to Sweden. He can take Sweden himself. But he disbanded Finland because England asked him to. And this is when I knew I didn't have Darcy on side, and it was very sad.
For like the 5th time.
Yeah.
All right. So, but your game plan is now you got to take all 5 or 6 Turkish centers. That's what you're aiming for.
I will take every Turkish center, and I will maybe take Venice. But it's very hard, to be clear, because I'm probably losing St. Pete, and most of the German dots are probably going to England. It's a very hard win path, but there's definitely a way for me to win from this position. And you'll see at the end, I would have won if France chose me over England. Like it would have been, I think, guaranteed I would have won. But yeah.
Okay. Are you talking to Jordan at all about the game?
I'm not. I haven't texted him since the game ended.
Oh man. All right.
So yeah, I mean the rest of the game is like fairly uneventful, right? Like just tactics. One thing, or I mean, actually, I want to talk about the coin flip mostly after the game. Is that okay?
You've been talking so much, so just when you get it out. But all right,
Okay.
we I guess this is the France move that you're alluding to, France escaping.
Right, and this was like a mistake by me because I did not. I know Keith instantly saw this and was like, France is janissarying for England, but I didn't think this. I just thought that France was trying to defend Italy because I knew that France and Italy were close. I just read this as France like sees that he can't hold and is gonna come try to help Italy at the end. And then like nothing really important happens this turn, but the next turn is my only way to win. I think at this point is with this French support to Venice, and I think with this French support to Venice, I would have won the game. I cannot blame France for not supporting me to Venice here because I think he has a lot of good reason not to. Like you said, like respecting his relationship with Italy. Like Italy did nothing to deserve dying here, and also like the potential of being surviving as a janissary is I mean, yeah, like that's his only out, right? I have nothing to offer France besides the promise that England will lose the game, and it wasn't even a promise because if Turini and C did not go to Tunis here, it would have been, I think, a 50-50 on whether or not I could have won the game. Between like there would have been a guess between like Apulia and Naples or something, but I would have won the game because Turanian Sea did go to Tunis. If I had had the support to Venice here, I would have gotten all the Turkish dots, and I think I would have even gotten all of the Italian dots.
Yep,
Did get a retreat to Munich though.
Yeah, but the retreat to Munich is just not good enough. Because at this
not
point, I
without
need
Darcy wanting you there.
what?
Not without Darcy wanting you there.
Yeah, exactly. Because I need both Munich and Berlin in order to win from this position now, and I think I might
And is
also.
there
even
any
need
hope
Venice.
that Darcy would help? I know you said no before you wanted to end on 4, but
I also fumbled Darcy, which is so frustrating because I had a good argument, I just did not present it correctly. But like the argument here is if I win this game, if we can go to the end and I have a chance, even a chance to win, Turkey's going to throw all those dots to me, and that means that Darcy's going to end one spot higher and get the associated DBNI points. And Darcy wants to end on 2, but ending on 2 doesn't give you any DBNI points. It still gives you 5th. He's still 5th.
Center count doesn't matter yet.
Right. So, and this is why I thought Darcy was the one rejecting the draw, because Darcy has only to gain from the game continuing, and it's not even a trivial gain, or like a trivial gain. Like Turkey and Italy can both be outplaced by Germany from the spot.
well, you disclaimed vetoing any other draws other than like the first one, but was that a lie too, or are you saying that you were accepting draws?
Because
you seem adamant that you could win.
Yeah, after this move, I was accepting draws. After France went to Rolly, I forget. I think I only lied once as to the status of my draw. It was in when I said it was in, and it was out when I said it was out. But after this, I like maybe still could have done it. I'm not sure. But I think the biggest thing was that I didn't want to like take Turkey down too much, because I don't think Turkey deserved to die for like 10% chance of win equity for me. I think like I would have taken Turkey's death for like 100% or even 50% win equity for me. But I think like just out of respect to Turkey and the way he played this game, I did not want to do that. Is it okay if I go to the bathroom real quick, by the way?
Sure.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just talking while you're on a break that we could have, if you got Venice and you can maybe get Rome and the Italian centers, this could really work.
Right. But it didn't happen, and at this point there was no way to win anymore, because I would have needed Darcy to be okay dying, and I didn't play those cards right, and Darcy just takes the support back to Munich, and I don't have really good reasons for him not to at this point. So yeah, the game ends.
So
and then
run it through 09 here.
Move.
Yeah, it takes Munich, as you say.
This was like a cute convoy swap. It was the only way to like guarantee me Venice, I think, to do this convoy swap. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was genius, because I probably would have moved Naples myself, so he would have got that on me.
Yeah,
I did comment on that, and I also said if Darcy's moving to Munich, then it's pretty much game over for Tim.
Yeah, which is why I didn't hedge against it, right? Like I could have cut Berlin and support. I had that move set in for a second, but then I was like, I mean, if Darcy's going to Munich, I can't win. So I might as well just try to keep Darcy on side and keep him happy if he isn't. Yeah.
We go to the fall. There's solo talk on the internal chat, but I never really thought that was going to happen unless you wanted to throw it. This is the anti-throw. You've gone back and decided you can't win, so let's get Turkey some stuff back.
Right. I thought Turkey just deserves second, because Turkey could have taken second from me whenever the heck he wanted, right? If Turkey actually wanted second, I would not have had a chance to win this game, and he would have always had second place. So I figure like I got my shot, he gave me my shot, and I failed to capitalize on my shot, and he deserved to have what he could have had.
You threw him second place.
Yeah.
There you go. Counter throw. All right. Cedric gets to 16 in 1910. But what we're all waiting for is the tease of the second coin flip, or what you want to talk about on the coin flip.
Right. So with respect to the coin flip, I also won the second coin flip. But like basically, I just want to like take a second to address all.
Well, how do you do an 80% coin flip? Do you run it 5 times, or what do you do?
Or like we just use a Discord bot, and the Discord bot is like a random number generator between 1 and 5. We did a D20, so we picked 4 numbers out of 20. But yeah. So like the big thing is I just want to take a second to like address like all the like discussion around the coin flip, because I think like first of all, I think Europe is like very correct, which is that if you can expect to be coin flip 2, of course you should play to be coin flip 2. Like it's a part of the game, and like if it's a part of your win equity, it's a part of your win equity. Like this is how like I won my Olympus semi, right? Like I had literally no other way to win the game other than being thrown to by Turkey, and I got thrown to by Turkey. And I think also like, yeah, like I did play bad early, right? Like I made a lot of mistakes this game. I can point to a lot of mistakes that I made. Like the first stab on Italy, the 1903 stab on England that I missed. But like, did I also know when I was stabbing Italy the second time that Turkey was probably more likely to throw to me than Italy? Like, yeah, I did. And if I had lost the coin flip, I'm not sure I would have thrown. Like I think I'm not sure at all I would have thrown. And I know that this is gonna like sacrifice some future EV with all the potential coin flippers who might coin flip with me. But like I just like hate all the intergame meta stuff, and I just don't want to care about it. So I think like because ultimately like if I had lost the second coin flip or even the first coin flip, I think Cedric would have just come to me with the same argument that Leo came to me last game, which is that like it's not fair to me if you aren't playing for your game objectives. And I would have been, I mean, I was persuaded by that argument then, and it would have been a persuasive argument now. So I'm not sure I would have thrown. But what ultimately changed my mind was that I just really don't think Cedric treated me that well in our alliance. Like press-wise, he did, right? Like press-wise, he was so kind. He's a really, really nice person. But like throughout the entire time, even when I was trying to explain to him why I was so frustrated that he stabbed me for Skagerrak, he was like, you know, like we still like it's the only way to be even. You were ahead of me on the game score. Like you have 9 dots, and I'm like, bro, I can read a board. Like I can read the board. I know your position's better than mine. And also it was like he was being like, because I was like, these are all the things I've done for you, and he was like, well, I was such a good ally too because I let you stand next to my dot in Norway this entire time, and that means that I was like showing trust and like believing in our alliance and stuff, and I was like I was the guy who could have stabbed you. You could not have stabbed me. You were doing stuff. But like I feel like it doesn't showcase that you were trustworthy, that you trusted me. It showcases that I was trustworthy and that you took advantage of my trustworthiness. Like I feel like this is like not how it works. I feel like he was kind of saying like his contribution to the alliance was like being the recipient of my generosity, and I'm like yeah, like I was pretty generous. But basically like I was not happy with how Cedric like approached the end of the game. And then in combination with that, he trolled me for my birthday. And then in combination with that, I didn't want to be Darcy and I didn't want to play for second. And then also in combination with that, Turkey played so well. I think Turkey played a fantastic game, right? Because in all these situations, Turkey should have died. Like we were talking about it. It was the right move to kill Turkey so many times. And it just didn't happen because Turkey was a good diplomat and Turkey was so genuine, and even coming into this game with the disadvantage of everyone knowing he's a ruthless stabber. That's his reputation, and he played into it, right? Like he never denied that he's a ruthless stabber that's going to stab you for the win, but he was still a good ally. And I think Turkey just played a fantastic game, and I have so much respect for it. Like being able to still like have success and being able to be like I really respect Turkey, and I didn't like how Cedric handled the end of the game. And I would have been willing to throw at that point. And in fact, I threatened Cedric with the throw, even though I had won the coin flip. And I think ultimately it was kind of the same for Turkey, because y'all saw it, right? Like if Turkey could have won the game, he would stab in a second. But that's not what happened because Cedric upset him. Cedric upset him at first with the superior tactic stuff. Cedric upset him again after that and continuously after that when Cedric took what I think is a fairly poor line of negotiation, where once the throw was like potentially happening, Cedric started like threatening Turkey with like saying something in public chat and getting everyone to talk about it before the game ended, which like he wouldn't do if Turkey just voted draw and stopped throwing. And Turkey was very upset and wanted Cedric to lose. So I think like in the end, like the coin flip didn't mean that much to either of us. Like it did, right? Like the coin flip determined like it was a Hail Mary for both of us, basically, to try to get each other to throw to each other, but we didn't like necessarily think that it was the end all be all. And notably, like Turkey was sabotaging me the entire time after the coin flip. Turkey was working behind my back in order to try to maintain his own win equity, even under the diplomatic constraint that I thought that he was throwing to him. Because his plan was actually really, really smart. He told me that he needed England to believe that we were fighting because England was going to throw him dots in, was going to give him dots in Italy. And this resulted in him maintaining position on me for a very, very long time and not losing that many dots to me because he needed Cedric to think that we were fighting. And eventually he asked for Black Sea, and I was like, hold up, this doesn't make sense. There's no reason for you to be in Black Sea. And he didn't get in Black Sea. But basically Turkey told me like not even before the game had ended, Turkey told me I spent 17 hours sandboxes ways to win the game by stabbing you, and I couldn't find it. Even if I won every single guess, I would have been 1 dot short of Cedric, a single dot short. And I didn't sandbox this because I thought like he was really, really short, but apparently he was within 1 dot of winning the game. Even this was post both coin flips. So I think like ultimately, I think like, yeah, like we flipped some coins, but like I don't think either of us can be blamed for at least trying, right? To fishing to see if the other could throw. So like I don't think anyone in the world claims that it is bad to ask for the coin flip. And I also think that people just have like very visceral opinions on what should happen after the flip result happens. But after this flip happened, we both continued to try to win, right? Just under the constraints of the new diplomatic position we're in. Turkey still was trying to win the game even after he lost the coin flip. And I might have even like had a greater chance to win the game if Turkey was not trying to sabotage me. And if we genuinely could not win in the end, which it turns out we could have, like maybe we would have thrown, maybe we would not have thrown. And I think Turkey probably would have thrown pending like press from Cedric, and I probably would have thrown, but also because of press from Cedric. And I think ultimately, like I think it is frustrating when people throw for reasons that are not in your control. But in this game, it was within Cedric's control. I think like the reasons for why the throw would have happened or not happened were fully within Cedric's control. And for that reason, I did not feel that bad about throwing or receiving the throw.
Okay. I'm not even going to push back on any of that because I thought that was well stated. I just want to know who was a more deserving winner, Leonardo or Cedric?
Wow.
Wow.
Am I supposed to answer this question? I mean, like,
you played as Russia against both of them.
I mean, I think Leo played the better game, but I think Cedric was. I genuinely think Cedric might be the strongest player I've ever encountered. I think he had
It's the difference between a diplomatic victory and a tactical victory. That's a very different game.
Perhaps, yeah. I think Cedric had a more favorable like board position, like just like the environment was more favorable to Cedric this game, and that's why he had such a crushing victory. But I also think that he is such a strong player. Like the mental games that he plays, how likable he is in person, and how like subtly he tries to influence you to turn against other people, is actually a thing of art. He controlled a lot of what happened in the East, mostly through me, but also slightly through Turkey and Italy, I think. And no one ever came and fought him.
Tim, you said a lot. Anything more to say? Anything you want to talk about in the game that you haven't said on your endless pages of notes?
Yes. Let me see. Oh, I think like throws are throws, guys. Like a throw because of a coin flip is not categorically different from a throw because you like or dislike someone.
We're no more on throwing. Anything else you want to talk
I agree
about?
with you. If I had the position that you did with Darcy, I might have resorted to the same thing. So I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
It actually
I mostly am saying this for Turkey because I know I'm not going to take any heat for this because I won the coin flip and like I was never in the position of having to throw. But Turkey was in that position and he had to make that decision. But I'm sure you'll talk with it a lot about Turkey. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was a good game.
Did you get it all out? Did you get it all out of the system?
Yeah.
All right. Tim, thank you. Thank you for coming out of order. You've put up a very difficult case for other people to rebut on some of this stuff, so I can't wait to talk to others.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
I think it was a power move going early. I think it was a power move.
Do you have any notes for us?
What do you mean? The show was fantastic. I watched every episode this time. It was really fun.
Rob felt I was too favorable to Cedric. Do you think I was too favorable to Cedric?
I mean, I'm not sure how much you specifically contributed to my impression that Cedric was going to Care Bear with me, but I did think that Cedric was going to Care Bear with me. So, yeah, my bad, guys. My bad.
All right. Well, I warned everybody of Cedric early in this game, so I take no blame for what happened.
He did solo up the semifinals.
I guess I will say that if at any point Germany had come to me and been like, I want to work together now, because we left off with me just begging him with paragraphs and paragraphs and him giving me nothing back. But if at any point Germany had come to me and been like, yo, let's stop the Cedric guy, I would have been jumping for joy. I would have done it.
All right. Good night. Thank you, Tim. Keith.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
We'll see you on the flip side. Probably Olympus season main event 4.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.